So here are the stock tie rod ends. They have a male fitting with a female sleeve, and these are fine. Like, there was nothing wrong with this design. It wasn't the design that persuaded me not to use it. It was this right here. Notchy, terrible, no gaiters, no spin. This one's worse because we have that up and down play completely destroyed. And as you can see, there's a machine fitting, and they've actually had this on a lathe, and they've turned down this fitting so that they can make it fit into the stub axle. So this isn't even, I don't even think this is stock. Ridiculous. So that's junk. However, this wasn't the one that was on the car. You see, I didn't take this off the car. This is on the other side. This is how I think it's factory. This was on the car, and I have no clue what this is. I've looked up the part number. You can see there what it might be. And I've looked up the part number. I think it's for a Peugeot or something. These weren't so bad. I mean, the gaiters were just fine on them, but I wanted fresh. I wanted new. I didn't want to screw around with old parts that's been out in the field. That's not to say this is bad. I'm just gonna keep this in the trunk. This I'm gonna never use again. So next step is we got to take off the brake calipers. So I've taken the brake pads out of that. And then we need to take off the wheel bearing. So we need to take that off and go from there. Yeah, so I ran out of battery yesterday, and now it's the next day. I've skipped ahead and I've taken off the rotor and the brake caliper, but you didn't miss much, honestly. I've taken the tie rod end out, and they're terrible and notchy and horrible. I just got to pop these ball joints off here and here. And I get to use my new tool, which is one of these ball joint splitter. And what I'll need to do though is I need to put a jack underneath the lower control arm here, just to support it, just so that when I pop this, it doesn't just fling out Mach 2 against the ground because of this compressed spring. So now that I've got the stub axle supported, you see, it's taking off nuts. Nothing insane about this. What's good about doing taking the tie rod end first off, you know, if you're doing ball joints and things like that, is if you need more access, you can just turn the whole axle. But this one's really bloody stiff. This is why we're doing the job. So it's a 7/8 for the bottom, 3/4 for the top, I believe. Here we go. I reckon it's a bit rounded off from corrosion. Or maybe someone was in it before. Ooh, did you see that? You saw that. That just released. I didn't touch it. That just dropped on the studs. I was gonna, you know, put that in here and twist that up and do its magic, but we'll have to unbolt this. There's two bolts here that you can slide out, or this way, and then I can unbolt that, and worst comes to worst, I'll cut it off, but I reckon I'll be able to shove the ball joint back into its taper and unscrew it. But that's got to have to come off with the stub axle now. See if I stab that in there. Unscrew this, get that as high as possible. Get that in there, boy. See, that's already loaded up. There we go. And that's how that works. Yep, it's all splitting now. See that? No effort to do that, you know. I'm not here kicking and screaming with like a sleeper that you'd chuck in there to split it and then potentially break something, you know. This is a fantastic tool. $35 I got for this for, and I popped all 50 ball joints at the front here. Best tool ever. Got a hammer, steel punch. Just gonna drift that out. So the problem with the stud dislocating from the stub axle prematurely is now that there's no captive force holding the stud against the nut when you're unscrewing it, and you can't unscrew it because it just spins around in the ball joint cap there. So what you got to do, something like this, vice grip over the body of the ball joint, get some nice vice grips there, just unscrew it. Why hello there, darling. Whee! Okay, time for some fabrication work. So I've calculated that the distance between this Kingswood arm working, this one, and the factory Jaguar one working is something like 40 mils each side of the thread to cut 20 mils. Do the same for the other side. Okay, so I just took a quick wire brush to it with angle grinder. Now the main goal with what we're doing here is we're trying to get the center to center the same to here. So center to center of these two joints. So we're going to be doing that with Kingswood parts. We've got the center to center, and we can go outwards to adjust toe in, but we can't go inwards at all because we're bottomed out pretty much here. So what we're going to do next, we're going to take that there angle grinder, cut maybe just this square off. We do that with both of them, and that'll give us that adjustment both ways. So let me just do that and I'll fill you in with how it went. There you have it. And we've done this refurbishment for $64. Not $484, $64. And that's what I want to show you. I want to show you that you can enjoy European cars and you don't have to pay too much to enjoy one. This trunk floor is very big, and as you can see, there's some rust. Not crazy rust though. I like to think of it like a shipwreck. For very fragile, very courteous with how we go about it. A lot of this can be saved without any cut or welding, you know, because, you know, these cars are made of very thick metal, so not a brush. So as the boot progress is going, we're looking at the boot carpet, and the boot carpet's in pretty good nick, not for you know, using, but as a template. There's segmented carpets, so there's sectional carpets, so they're not molded carpet, which means I can pretty much use whatever I want. So I'm going to use a black carpet because I'm planning on using this car fairly regularly, and I don't want to you know, bother with lighter colour materials like this originally was. So I have like this hemming along the edges, and that's it. It's just a carpet with hemming along the edges. Oh. Jeez. As you can see, is done. Oh. Yeah. Also, I managed to do the cleaned out the floor, painted it, and started to cut some felt for it. This felt I've had left over from a previous carpeting job I did on a Kingswood, and it's just been sort of sitting around. And I'm glad to finally use stuff that's around my yard. It's very nice. So that's really, really nice. And I can already tell the difference, you know. Like, instead of just having just shit everywhere, you know, and just being a bare floor, and it's like a work area. It's actually really comfortable in here now. It's actually, I actually want to be in here to work on interior stuff. I can already feel the difference, I can hear the difference auditorially inside the car, because it's not bouncing around. There's less reverb in the car, less of a hall effect, and more of a, you know, snug effect, you know, whatever it is. But I like it. It's actually really nice. So I'm going to cut some more felt for the footwells, and then I want to get some carpet. And once carpet's in, we get to upholster the seats. I'm not sure what I'm doing about door cards yet. I've got to find some material. If you know any material to use for door card material, like the actual card, let me know, because I would. Well, I need to know. I need to know. You know, I've got a saw, and I can cut it up for the door cards and have those trimmed up and make it really silent in here. As well, I've also driven the car a little bit, which is really cool. And as well, I've driven the car a few kilometers now, mainly just up and down the road, trying to get that piston unstuck, that piston ring unstuck. Still my running theory. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to unseize itself. It drives really well, and usually when piston rings go, or if it's destroyed catastrophically, you can feel it, you can hear it. It sounds like sheet metal being thrown on sheet metal. It's like a clanging, it's like a clashing sound. And I don't really get that with this car. However, I did pop a tyre. I'm going to keep trying to drive it on this engine and see if I can just loosen things up. So far I've actually put 5 miles onto the car, according to the trip meter. I can't believe it too, this car has a trip meter, and I use it. Now I tripped it about a month ago, and in a month I've driven about a total of nearly 5 miles, which shocked me. I can't believe that I've put on that many miles, and the car's not even finished yet. So really smooth suspension, like the front suspension, fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It's almost like, even with the car in the state that it's in, you can bloody tell how smooth this car can be. The rear suspension feels fantastic, no vibrations, no weirdness, no oddities. The front suspension, I'm still a bit about it. Smooth, definitely smooth, and like, again, that ride quality, it's just like, I can imagine just a seat in here, like an actual like driver's seat, and driving this down the road with all the equipment back into the car, and I already know that I'm gonna love it. You know, I really think I'm gonna actually love this. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.